Welcome to my world history notes. I'm to the point where I'm just simply sharing what I'm learning about the Cold War, and I'm excited about it or interested in it because things that I thought I knew I didn't know, and things I was told, many of them were wrong, possibly outright lies. I don't know, but some of them were clearly wrong. So I want to begin, jump right into it. I don't want to stay long in this. I want to give you an opportunity to maybe search down some of the people I mentioned. So all during World War II, it was publicly expressed policy of the United States, the official policy, to help Chiang Kai-shek's government and to keep the nationalist armies in the war against Japan. Now, early in the war, communists and our government began to undermine the official policy. Now, Lachlan Curry, I've talked about him before. He was administrative assistant to the president. He was later identified by Elizabeth Bentley as a member of the Soviet spy ring espionage apparatus. He was responsible for setting up a conference in Washington on October 12, 1942, which was attended by himself, Sumner Welles, the Undersecretary of State, and Earl Browder and Robert Minor, who were leaders of the Communist Party in America. Now, this conference terminated with Welles handing Browder a memorandum, supposedly declaring that the United States favored complete unity among all organizations and groups of the Chinese people. And the quote in the document, as I was reading about it, quote, reviewed with skepticism many alarmist accounts of the serious menace of communism in China. In other words, they were trying to downplay something that they were promoting. So about November 20th, 1942, Vincent, person I've mentioned before, John S. Service, both Foreign Service officers in China at the time, met with Zhou Enlai and Lin Piao, Chinese communist leaders. Now, according to Service's report to the State Department dated January 23rd, 1943, the communists in China requested intervention by the United States to improve their situation against the nationalists. They wanted the United States to do four things: emphasize the political nature of the world conflict as a struggle between democracy and fascism, reiterate the hope of seeing democracy established in China, recognize the Chinese Communist Army as a participant in the war against fascism, apportion to the communists a share of American supplies sent to China. Now, American Foreign Service officers and the Office of War Information launched a propaganda campaign to accomplish these communist objectives. Now, General Albert C. Wiedemeyer, whose diary or whose memoirs I'm reading right now, I'm not quoting from them yet, but I will. I'm quoting from several books. I'm not going to cite them. I mean, they're out there. You can just look these up. Like Manley's the 30 to 20-year revolution, things like that. General Wiedemeyer was commander of American forces in China from 44 to 46. He told the Senate subcommittee that his political advisors, Service, John P. Davies, and Raymond Ludden, glorified the Chinese communists and emphasized the shortcomings, maladministration, and unscrupulousness of the nationalist leaders, quote unquote, in their reports. In contradiction to the Service Davies reports, Wiedemeyer testified that military operations of the Chinese communists against the Japanese were not significant. And I've already read a former communist general or aide to Mao who wrote a biography of Mao and said it was not Mao's intention to have the Chinese fight the Japanese whenever he could avoid it. His goal was to have the nationalists and Japanese fight and then seize the territory when they moved on. So, that's a pretty important note. So remember, they did this. This was similar thing was done to the Yugoslav partisans, the Yugoslav people who were fighting the fascists. There was a non-communist group and there was a communist group, but the traitors in our government promoted the non-communist group and eventually promoted the communist group, and eventually the non-communist group was rendered insignificant and removed from the situation. I think the commander was killed. So this is the way it happened, and it's very disturbing. But there's a lot of treason in our government. It's just amazing. But anyway, we'll go on. Vice President Wallace had a mission to China in 1944 that's going to carry on some more of this information, and I'll stop here and just hope you'll dig into it and come up with your own conclusions. You may disagree with me. You think I'm totally wrong, but that's okay as long as you have an opinion. I just think some of the stuff I'm finding is pretty interesting. So Thank you.